I hope that you're well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our advanced writing for high school students on parallel structures. So we're doing our advanced writing for high school students on parallel structures and we're going to be focusing on grade 8. And before we start with our lesson, you're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. So once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of parallel structure. So our subject is parallel structure. So our chapter is parallel structure. Our subject is English, which is language arts. Grade 8. And then our lesson is to use parallel structure. So that is going to be our lesson for today under our chapter of parallel structure is to use parallel structure. So we see that our lesson is to use parallel structure. So we're going to basically focus on parallel structures. Grade 8. And we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. That is where we're doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. All right, so now we see that chapter is parallel structure. So when two or more words, phrases, or even clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a series, those elements must be parallel in structure. So it needs to first be parallel in structure in order for two or more words, or phrases, or clauses to be joined by a coordinating conjunction. And parallel elements have the same grammatical function in the sentence. So basically, when two or more words, phrases, or even clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction. And remember, as we said, a coordinating conjunctions are words like and, but, so. So it's and, but, so, or, right? So that is our coordinating conjunctions. So when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction to form a series, then those elements needs to be or must be parallel in structure. And we said when it comes to parallel structures, right, then parallel elements, they have the same grammatical functions within a sentence. For example, the community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meetings. So that is the community center. So the community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meetings, meaning that they can do specific activities within the community center. Usually they have like um, activities and things that they do in the day to keep kids occupied. And you can have meetings, meaning meetings that's in the community or for the community can also be held in the community center. So basically, we then have it's as if we have two phrases, right? Which is the community center is a hub of activity, and then we have a coordinating conjunction, and then we are well equipped for meeting. All right. So basically, they're saying that the second element, which is well equipped for meetings, it is not a noun phrase. However, it also shows that both community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meeting space is a noun phrase. So if it is just well equipped for meetings, then it is not a noun phrase. But as soon as you say it is well equipped for meeting space, then we can say it is a noun phrase. And for joint verb phrases, right? Each phrase must contain its own helping or model verb, meaning that if we want to identify the joint verb phrases, right, then there needs to be in a helping verb or a model verb. Or the initial helping or model verb must apply to all of the phrases, not just one. All right, if we look at an example, it says Sarah will order the flowers, pick up the decorations, and might help us set up. And if we look at might help us set up, we can say that that second element is missing a modal verb. So basically, if we read that sentence again, it says Sarah will order flowers, pick up the decorations, and might help us set up, which means that it is the second element is missing of a modal verb. However, all three of these elements they have modal verbs. And the modal verb applies to all of these elements, not just a few or one. Then we have correlative conjunction, right? We said we have coordinating conjunction, and correlative conjunctions, right? Like both or and or either or neither nor and not only or but also must also join parallel elements. So we see that correlative conjunctions like both or and, either or, neither nor, and not only, but also must also join parallel elements. For example, Leslie is neither tall nor is she particularly athletic. And the first element is an adjective. So basically, the first element, right, is we said it's an adjective, meaning that we can identify adjectives within that clause. And then the second element is, of course, a clause. And it says Leslie is neither tall nor particularly athletic. And yet it says that the first element is an adjective, and the second element, sorry, is an adjective phrase. So parallel structure is basically us identifying if something is either phrase, noun phrase, right? Verb, phrase, depending. And it is when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by coordinating conjunction to form a series. And these elements we call parallel in structure. So we say that when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by a coordinating conjunction, it is to form a series. Then those elements must be parallel in structure. And parallel elements have the same grammatical functions within a sentence. For example, the community center is a hub of activity and well equipped for meetings, right? And here we can say that the second one is not equipped for meetings. So we said we are going to aplusstudents.ca. That is where we are doing our tutorial lesson. And we're going to use parallel structure. And we said that when two or more words, phrases, or clauses are joined by coordinating conjunction to form a series, then those elements must be parallel in structure. And we call these basically these elements, right? Or the parallel in structures, we call those also. They must have the same grammatical functions within the sentence. So basically, what I've noticed here with the parallel structures, it is either where you add certain words and then it can either become a specific phrase, like a noun phrase, verb phrase, right? Or you just leave it the same, the structure of the sentence. For example, here where it says, the community center is a hub of activities and well equipped for meetings, right? Then here they're saying the one that says well equipped for meetings, it is not a noun phrase. But in order to show that both of these words, or yeah, the phrases are noun phrases, we can then change or add something to well equipped meetings. Now we can say the community center is a hub of activity in well equipped meeting space. So we added the word space. So now both of these elements are noun phrases. And we do the same with the rest. And with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices to create jobs and to invest in public works. So, with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize job prices, to create jobs, and to invest in public works. All right. So now we're going to our test, right? We need to complete this sentence. It says if Eric is able to save money for a trip to Ireland, he will research his ancestry, identify living relatives, and in the hopes that he might or he can arrange a meeting. So if Eric is able to save money for a trip to Ireland, he will research his ancestry, identify living relatives, and in the hopes that he can arrange a meeting. So we need to complete the sentence. So we need to either choose is he going to email them or he might email them. So Eric is able to save and might email them in the hopes that he can arrange a meeting. Or do we just say he's going to email them in hopes that he can arrange a meeting? So let's say email them. Still think it's might email, which means possibility, but let's go with email them. And email them, that is in order for him to save and to go on his trip. So we need to complete the sentence. Either Whitney will take the time to get a scuba diving certificate or certification, or she will miss her family's planned dive, or will miss her family's planned dive. So either Whitney will take the time to get a scuba diving certification, or she will miss a family's planned dive, or she will miss a family's planned dive. Dive. I want to say drive, so dive. So we can then say, or she will miss her family's planned dive. So she will miss, which means that she can get the certification, but then it means that she will miss the family planned outing. Ava, if you confirm that our mailing list is up to date, Dean will stuff the envelopes and Do we say address them or will address them and drop them off at the office? All right, so we can say, Ava, if you confirm that our mailing list is up to date, Dean will stuff the envelopes. So we will say Dean will stuff the envelopes, address them, or we say and drop them off at the post office. So first address them or will address them. We can say address them and drop them off at the post office. So we will then say Dean will stuff the envelopes, address them, and drop them off at the post office. So meaning that Dean will then put his address still on, right? Then bicycle repair specialists claim that a well-oiled bicycle chain should function noiselessly, shift gears smoothly, and should last long or last long. So we need to complete the sentence by saying bicycle repair specialists they claim that a well-oiled bicycle chain should function noiselessly, meaning it should not make a noise at all. Must be able to shift gears smoothly. So we can then say the bicycle repair specialists claim that a well-oiled bicycle chain should function noiselessly, shift gears smoothly, and last long. Let's go with and should last long. Oh, so it's just last long. So it's just and last long. We don't have to say should last long. So during hibernation, bears will remain in a small den, roll into a ball, and subsist entirely on the stored fat and muscle tissue, or and will subsist entirely on this stored fat and muscle tissue. All right, so we can then say and subsist entirely on this stored fat. So during hibernation, bees remain in small den, roll into a ball, and subsist entirely on this stored fat and muscle tissue, and that is during hibernation. So they will then entirely subsist on. So with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices to create jobs and invest in public works. So with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices to create jobs. So do we say with the New Deal, Franklin D. Roosevelt sought to stabilize prices, create jobs, and invest in public works? So we can say it is create jobs and insist in public works. So we can then say to create jobs and to invest in public works. Oh, and to invest in public works. So do you see it's basically sometimes only one word, right? So it's basically to invest in public works, not just and invest in public works. So basically it's sometimes only one word that separates it. Once our dog Rico spied the rabbit, he scrambled under the fence, through the recently planted garden, and do we say, and raced past the garage in pursuit of happiness, or and past the garage in pursuit of happiness? So we say, once our dog Rico spied the rabbit, he scrambled under the fence, through the recently planted garden, and do we say raced past the garden in pursuit of happiness, or do we say and past the garage in pursuit of happiness? So we can then say he raced past the garden in pursuit of happiness because they were basically chasing each other. And Vladimir Nabokov, who was a famous Russian novelist and, do we say zoologist, or do we say he was fascinated by zoology, spoke three languages fluently, which was Russian, French, and English. So Vladimir Nabokov, who was a famous Russian novelist and, do we say a zoologist, or and fascinated by zoology, spoke three languages fluently, which is Russian, French, and English. So we need to say if he was fascinated by zoology, or do we have to say he was just a zoologist? So we can say he was maybe fascinated by zoology, right? Oh, so which means that he was a zoologist, not just fascinated by a zoology. So he was a zoologist, right? So we need to complete the sentence. Music for the glass harmonica. So music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the instrument itself. So not only did Benjamin Franklin compose music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the instrument itself. Or you can say Benjamin Franklin composed not only music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the instrument itself. So do we say not only did Benjamin Franklin compose music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the musical instrument? Or do we say Benjamin Franklin composed not only music for glass harmonica, but he also invented the instrument itself? So we need to choose the correct one. And one of the answers needs to come right in front of that word, or right, let's say right in front of the sentence to basically complete the sentence. So do we say not only did Benjamin Franklin compose music for glass harmonica, but he also invented the musical instrument or invented the instrument itself? Or do we say Benjamin Franklin composed not only music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the instrument itself? All right, so we can say not only did Benjamin Franklin compose music for the glass harmonica, but he also invented the music itself. And also with parallel structures, it can be very tricky. So not only did Benjamin Franklin compose music for the glass harmonica, a typical environmental engineering program teaches students how to study the effects of pollution, to implement environmental improvement programs, and can we say to monitor the progress of those programs over time? Or do we say and monitor the progress of those programs over time? So, a typical environmental engineering program teaches students how to study the effects of pollution, to implement environmental improvement programs, and we can maybe say to monitor the progress of the program over time. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson on using or on parallel structures. Thank you very much for joining the class on parallel structures, and I really hope that you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.